Hello and welcome to today's Word of Faith. I'll be reading one verse in the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, in verse 7, and it says that I form the light and create darkness. This is God speaking, and He says that I bring prosperity and I create disaster. I, the Lord, do all these things. In this few chapters in the book of Isaiah, God was bringing an accusation against the Israelites because they had lost a view of who God is. And one of the things that they did was that they followed God so intently when things were going right, but when things started going downwards, they sought their own idols, and they picked gold, they mined silver, and they got wood, and they made idols out of them, and they went ahead and worshipped all these things. And what God was telling them now was that He is the one who brings prosperity, and He is the one who brings disasters, that He creates the darkness and that He also creates the lights. I just want to talk about briefly balance and how God uses balance to just sustain life. One of the things that we know that needs a lot of balance are relationships, because in relationships, for example, you'll come with your own personality, with your own mindset, with your own past, your own history and experiences, and you will meet someone, and what they will also bring the same from wherever they're coming from, and what you do is you try and bring all these things to a balance so that you're able to achieve one common goal of living in unity and bringing up a family. Another example of balance is how our heart works, is that we have an expansion and we have a contraction. In the cardiac cycle, we have that diastole and that systole, and in an electrocardiogram we see that there are waves, and you'll see that pulse just being drawn. There's a P wave, there's a Q wave, there's an R wave, an S and a T wave, and this is ups and downs of our heart, just making just one heartbeat. And so you see that up and that down brings about the cardiac cycle, which is what brings about life, because without that heartbeat, then your blood wouldn't go all the way into all the other organs that you have in your life. Another thing that has a very good balancing act is colors. You see, we have a color wheel, and in the primary colors, we have, let's say, red and green on two different spectrums. But when you bring these colors together, they form such a good complement of one another. They form something so it massages the senses, our senses, especially our eyes, because you will perceive it and it will create that calm effect, and it will also create such a therapeutic effect. Purple and yellow, two different colors on a spectrum, but they bring together such a wonderful effect when brought together. But the greatest balancing act that God did, it wasn't even an act, it was reality. Because on one hand, and balance is about having two things that have the same weight on two different ends and balancing. So this and this has to be, they have to be the same weight. And what God did was that He had our sins, our guilt and our shame, and all the wrongs that we had done, the evil things, on one side, and the Israelites kept on sacrificing goats and lambs and sheep and grains and offerings, but they could never do. And so what He did is He brought His own self in the form of Jesus Christ, the Son, and He made that balance out on the cross. This was the greatest balancing of all times, and it is why you and I today can live, can have a life full of abundance, because God balanced our sins and all our iniquity with Jesus Christ, who was the perfect sacrifice. So I pray today that you will understand the balance that God did with Jesus Christ on the cross. And because of that, you and I today can have a life filled with abundance, and we have been justified before God, that we can approach His throne of grace with confidence, that we can have a relationship with Him, not to just call Him God, but we can call Him Abba Father. And I pray that you will stay blessed. I pray that you will recognize the relationship that you have today with God because of that balancing on the cross. Be blessed and have a good week. Bye-bye.